future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, their novels, and their comics, but also their live-action TV series, their animated TV shows, and of course their new Star Wars trilogy that's currently in development. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that it's heading in a different direction, all thanks to the new CEO, Bob Chapek, who is really changing Lucasfilm behind the scenes, and is really trying his very best to really give us a better future for Star Wars, right? We've seen a prime example of how Disney did so much wrong with the sequel trilogy, and especially with what, of course, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy applied to The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, like I've said before in the past, I really do feel that the backlash from the fans against Disney Star Wars obviously is now resonating with Disney. They are finally realizing that they need to make change, and that this is all because of the major switch between Bob Iger and Chapek. You know, we've seen this great transition now where Star Wars lore is heading back. We're getting a lot of Star Wars Legends material that's going to be revived by Disney. And not just that, this new Star Wars universe is going to be very expansive and will be based off of the MCU. Essentially, all of the TV shows and the movies are all going to interconnect with each other, with the books, the novels, and the comics to be side stories. Now, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing is that, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their new Star Wars universe. It's noted that Disney has multiple plans in place in order to create a better future for Star Wars, and to also reunite the fans around the world. One of the big plans comes from the Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, who took over Bob Iger just weeks ago, who currently has many plans to change Star Wars as we know it. It's explained that Bob Chapek recently canceled a series of projects that were developed by Kathleen Kennedy that were going to be a part of Disney Plus and other projects in the works. It's noted that Bob Chapek canceled a major project that Kathleen Kennedy developed for Disney Plus, which was going to be a live-action Star Wars TV series that would center on a prequel to The Rise of Skywalker that would take place in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, that would introduce a brand new set of characters and even feature a handful of cameos of some of the side characters in the story of the sequel trilogy movies. It's explained that Kennedy was in talks with having some of the cast from Game of Thrones to play a role in the Untitled series that was actually canceled by Bob Chapek, and that as of now, Chapek has replaced a project by Kathleen Kennedy by reviving a project created by George Lucas called Star Wars Underworld, which will show fans a different side of Star Wars than ever before on Disney Plus. So, I don't know if you guys know about George Lucas's original plans for Star Wars coming to television, but he actually had this vision of developing a series called Star Wars Underworld. We saw the leaked footage a couple of months ago, which I believe was leaked intentionally and had something to do with them reviving it as we speak. Now, this idea by Kathleen Kennedy that was ultimately canceled by Bob Chapek, I think was a fantastic move. I don't know about you guys, but I feel that a prequel to The Rise of Skywalker is so unnecessary to really give us an idea of what happened in between the events of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Given the fact that it's only 1 year in between, there's really not all that much to tell. Sure, you can explore specific, adventures in the forms of comics and books and novels, etc. But this particular series, I just feel would have been so meaningless without the characters like Rey, Kylo, Palpatine, Luke, etc. It would have meant nothing, at least to me at least. The fact that Chapek canceled this and is replacing those plans with the pretty much, resurrection of George Lucas's TV series called Star Wars Underworld, I think is a fantastic move. Now, Star Wars Underworld was going to be a TV series that would be primarily based on the world of Coruscant and showing us pretty much the underground world of Star Wars, showing us exactly, what happens with the bounty hunters and all these criminals, and very interesting storyline, I gotta add. George Lucas, I think, would have really created something special with Underworld, and it's very sad that we did not get this years ago. Let's just hope that Disney is able to really stay true to what George wanted to do with, of course, Star Wars Underworld by reviving that particular project. Now, the thing about Chapek here is that the fact that there are many changes being made over at Lucasfilm, I think it tells us, obviously, that Star Wars is indeed heading in a better direction with every step of the way. You know, they're really trying to reshape the franchise because of what happened with the box office results for Episode 9. It only made a little over $1 billion at the box office worldwide speaking. Really nowhere near as close as to what they expected that this movie would actually make. More like they expected $2 billion, maybe $2.5 billion at the box office at minimum, you know, because this was such a big movie. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear